Welcome to War Journal, Flames of War. And this podcast is our thoughts and discussions about the Flames of War games and other related interests. This episode is brought to you by Tracy George and Chaos Magic. We are not claiming to be experts of the game, but just wanted to have a casual conversation about Flames of War. Without any further delay, we now make our advance onto the podcast. And here are your hosts, Tracy and Arthur.
This is Tracy.
And I'm Arthur.
Welcome to War Journal Flames of War, Episode 3, Marching On. What's on tap for today's episode, Arthur?
We have 8 segments this time. There are Basic Training, where we discuss our first time playing Flames of War on the clock. Our Hobby, where we apply a cartoon to Flames of War. Battlefront Front Page News, where we take a look at the news on Battlefront's homepage. We talk about the game Flames of Tank in the segment More War. In that segment, that's new, we take a look at a very interesting rule. Keep your enemies close, where Tracy gets closer to with one of my favorite toys. Tracy will review a old World War II TV show in Reconnaissance. And we end with Sun Tzu applying his work to Flames of War.
We need to improve how we play the game, so our play won't be lame. How will we keep improving? By going back to basic training.
All right, Arthur, so we just got done playing our first game with a timer.
That was interesting, to say the least.
Well, I do have to say that was, at the very beginning, it was like both of us were like, oh, I gotta do this. But one thing I did notice, that as the game progressed, we did kind of, there was still that, I gotta get done, but it wasn't like at the beginning was just Scramble City, it seemed like.
True, the beginning was kind of awful, but we kind of adjust to it, got used to it, and still forgot a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, I forgot to shoot this unit. We both forgot to dig in units, because you were like, oh, I got to move this, and I forgot to move this unit over here. And
one unit I didn't forget to dig in so much as I didn't know I could still dig in if I lost commander, so that's why I didn't do it for them. The other units I forgot.
Yeah, so we went 4 turns, but it didn't. We had it where we were going to go 2.5 hours.
Yes.
That was the time limit. We went 2.5 hours, and we did not reach that time limit, so that was good. We went 4 turns. I calculated out, in this 4 turns, it came out really close. I had more units than you had. I had 9 units.
I had 7.
Yeah, so mine came out for the whole game. I came out 60 minutes. My whole turns, and some of that counted in your turns. I had to do saving throws, so the timers got switched to me.
Yeah.
When I had to do saves and stuff, and then it flipped back to you when you had to do fire powers. So I did 60 minutes. You were 51. So that left. We still had 39 minutes left. So we did less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
And normally that game we'd still be playing it if we did, because you do kind of get that analysis paralysis deal. But compared to the previous game, even though I didn't win this one, I gotta say I enjoyed this. Even if I would have lost, I enjoyed this one more. Because when you're done, just a couple hours, what do you want to do? Want to play another game, or do you want to play something else? With that one deal, it was like when we were done for the day.
Yeah.
At least I was.
I think for me, I think I want to go back between game with no time limit, game with time limit, sort of to adjust to it. And I think very quickly, just playing without a time limit, our game should be faster.
I agree. Yeah, so just talking about our first turn, which was actually part of the setup, like putting down objectives went against you. When you had to put down an objective, that went against your time. And then when you had to deploy your forces at the beginning of the game, and we played the first, what was it, free-for-all, the first mission, where there was no reserves, because we just wanted to do a basic, quick game. So we didn't have to really think about some of the rules, like reserves. Oh gosh, what am I going to put in reserve, because that would have taken more time. So for the first turn, that includes putting out the objectives and setting up your troops in your deployment zone. I took a total of 21 minutes, and you did 15.
Because when we were setting up, I wanted to look through all the rules, make sure, especially things like I wanted to know these stuff before we started playing. And they were like, okay, so once we start, I need to make that plan. I was like, okay, before we roll the die, I knew what side I wanted and where to place my objectives. So like, okay, there and there. I won. I picked that side, and But of course, we screwed up there. We have to go back and redo it because
Yeah.
I forgot I needed to I picked one side for me to play on. I need to place the objectives on the other side. Yeah, I placed them on the same side. So, oops.
Yeah. Well, that was quick because we only you put down 2 and I put down 1.
2. Go put.
I was getting ready to put the second one down. I was like, wait, why are my objectives on my side? I thought, oh.
No, you place that in 2. I place a unit. You place a unit. I place a unit. You start to place your second unit, and you're like, wait, we screwed up. Which was good for me because I forgot, like, my HQ comes with troops that I'm supposed to attach to other units.
Oh.
I forgot to attach that one of the units I wanted to attach to, I placed the first turn. And then I realized I had to do that. And I'm like, well, I can't do that, so I guess I put 2 guys in this unit and 1 in here. I'm not even sure that was legal, but it's like, I forgot to.
Well, I had a couple of illegal things happen, but it was just because the first time playing with the clock and they're trying to rush through because you don't want your time to get down to 0. So there's mistakes made, but
Yeah.
that's going to happen when you first start doing this.
I also played like another infantry list, and I realized I'm not good with mostly infantry. I don't think I'd really know how to use them.
Well, also, like I said, if I would have I played the tank company and had 2 mechanized infantry, and the rest stuff I was very mobile. If I was just playing an infantry company, I don't think I could have won.
One thing, my snipers would be a lot more useful against you.
Yeah, and I'm trying to trudge across the field, and your stuff's just like, oh, I'm just going to machine gun these guys down. I'm just going to shoot them, and oh, you don't get any saves. I got breakthrough.
It's just 4 shots if I don't move, and it's like hard to take those 4 shots when you keep smoking me. But I also have the benefit, like I was so far back that when you smoke this way, it's like, I can just turn
Yes, I know.
with your smoke.
And shooting the guys that are on the objective, yep. And some others that were approaching the objective, yeah. So, I'm kind of of the feeling that I still want to play. I know you want to do back and forth, but I think if we just keep playing with the timer, I think our games will just. It said like eventually it'll be we don't need a timer.
Yeah.
All right,
We're done?
well I think we're done with this one. Yeah.
Our hobby.
All right, Arthur. So you wanted to talk a little bit about an idea you have for Flames of War.
Well, this idea, we mentioned it before, and this will be an opportunity to go into more detail. As I said, like while I'm working on my German army, my army could be a historical fantasy version of it.
Mhm.
And then you kind of talked about doing your own version, so you have my fantasy version as your fantasy version, and then that kind of morphed into like, we could almost do a G.I. Joe version.
Cobra!
Yo, Joe!
That was not even planned.
So, already that idea has some fun to it.
So, I mean, what is your thinking on this?
Well, like for me, like I like doing my own. I'm not doing a historical army, and if I do my own stuff, if I bring it to other people who don't know it or know what it is, I'm probably gonna get weird looks. Even though Cobra is not historic, I'll probably get more appreciative looks than like, what is that? It's like, you did Cobra whirlwinds. That's awesome.
So you can have Cobra Commander out there, Destro, but nobody's ever going to die.
Well, that's today. But if like 50 years before G.I. Joe happened, the World War II of G.I. Joe's universe, you never know. People might die then, and all of a sudden it's like they get gentle.
So you think about doing G.I. Joe or just kind of that kind of fictional? Okay, we got the. Well, you kind of were talking a little bit about your Calamity campaign.
That's how the initial idea started. The idea was like if you do like either U.S. or British Army and paint them up in G.I. Joe colors with the G.I. Joe symbols. I do Cobra with the Cobra symbols.
Snake eyes.
isn't it like you have a warrior who's like a really badass guy?
I think Snake Eyes was one of the bad ones. There's a lot of named guys, so.
Yeah, I think he's like a one-man army. Yeah, you could definitely have a Snake Eyes there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this would be still doing fantasy, but have a way that other people would know what I'm doing.
I can kind of see what you're doing here, because we do have those people that don't want to play historical.
Yeah.
You were that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't want to play historical, but then you thought, this game doesn't seem too bad. But there's some of those it's historical, never mind. I mean, they don't want even.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a way maybe to draw.
That's true.
A way you could draw some of those people into the game, saying, well, yeah, it's kind of based on historical, but here's what's actually happening.
And that's true.
And you can have it where, okay, the tanks are not shooting shells; they're shooting lasers.
Well, it's still 50, it was 50 years before G.I. Joe, except for they still have G.I. Joe and Cobra took over Germany and did their stuff. But the idea is playing like Flames of War, and if you're doing it at a hobby store, that is playing historical games. Like that might draw in some people. Other people are like, that's not for me. It's all see G.I. Joe and Cobra colors, and it's like Cobra. Hey, what is this? That's an interesting way we can get other people at least look at the game.
So are you going to run around after the game? I'm surrounded by Amazon! I'm surrounded by incompetence!
And no, I'm just not a fan of Cobra Commander. But I do have the theme song to the movie stuck in my head.
Oh, great.
I just love my Kate sings, so I won't sing it for you.
Thank you.
And thank you, and you're welcome listening, because you don't want me to sing.
Yeah, you don't want to hear it.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Battlefront Front Page news.
All right, so we're looking at Battlefront's website. And what do you want to talk about first, Arthur?
Well, let's start with the question of the week.
All right, and we didn't talk about it last one, but there's one about the warrior save last time.
Yeah.
And yes, they did have to do a firepower test. And then if they're successful at that, then he would get a 4+. I stand the game save. All right, so this one has another warrior question. Will the warrior team have to test for sole survivor? Then they see further explanation below. A Finnish infantry platoon has the honor to be led by a named warrior infantry team after having its command team replaced during the creation of the company. After some fierce fighting, the warrior is all that remains of the once glorious platoon. Will the warrior team have to test for sole survivor? And there's A, yes, B, or no. B, no. So 50-50 on this one.
Decent odds.
All right, I got my choice down.
I thought I knew the answer, but I actually looking at the question again, like I'm not sure anymore. I guess I'll write my answer.
Yeah, I said B, which is no.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, I don't think he does, but I think he would still have to take the platoon morale check.
Yeah, at the end, if he passes that.
Yeah, then he's fine. Warriors, as far as I know, never have to take a sole survivor check.
Yeah, my only question was, since he replaced the commander, it feels like,
I didn't catch that.
since he replaced the commander, I almost feel like that might change the that's why I wasn't sure.
I don't think they ever take sole commander or sole survivor though. Still, I don't think any warrior does. But he would do the platoon check. Yeah, he would have to do that. Yeah, I didn't see that. Well, I guess I saw it, but I didn't think about it. But I'm still sticking with my guns on this one.
Yep.
I'm
When I
gonna
saw
go
that, I didn't see that the first time. The second time, that's where I'm like, I have to think about that.
Yeah, it says sole survivor. I'm going to go with warrior never has to make a sole survivor check.
I'm going to agree with you, but I'm not totally sure. Just that one thing.
All right. One of the things that kind of interested me, boy, I think this was some big news, and that's the State of the Union.
Yes.
And they go through the Not Jaeger, and then some of the plastics coming out. They did talk about, I saw the video for it, the new open fire box set, which I'm kind of torn on it. They're doing like all plastic models for it, and I guess they're better models than what was. The other ones were like, I think some fiddly. They're a little fiddly. There's some gaps and stuff, so people had to fill in gaps. And these are much better models. But the one thing that I think was awesome with that starter box set that's not in the new one is the full rule book.
Oh.
It only has the starter rules.
Ah.
So I'm like, unless they make it extremely cheaper? Unless they make it cheaper.
Yeah.
That rule book, just having that rule book in there with all the other stuff, I thought was just an awesome deal. Now it's just, well, you get this, I don't know how many pages it was, like 20-page starter or 30-page starter rules, which was in the other one too.
Yeah.
Starter set.
Like, for me, it was like, I'm always iffy on the open fire box set because it has a lot of the tanks in it. It's not tanks I use. So, like, I don't know if I'm going to get my...
Yeah, well, another thing I didn't like was the mix of American and British. I wish they would have stuck. But they do have something like they're going to have little mini boxes that you can, like Russian tanks and American tanks. Because if you watch the video at the end, they kind of show little minis that looks like you can add. Like, the box had like 2 tanks in it or something like that. So you can kind of add to your starter set.
That's cool.
Now, going on down, that's the Vietnam. Yeah. I'm really not interested in Vietnam.
No, but, like, the boat thing almost interested me enough. I'm like, huh.
The Brown Water Navy?
Yeah, just like, that might be cool for me to consider it.
Actually, these Vietnamese people in the boat look pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't think it's my genre. And then the Colors War has to do with paint, which I'm not too excited about painting, but that's just me. I like playing.
Yeah.
Okay, now, you've got another book coming out, unlike me, Berlin.
Oh. Is that Late War?
Yeah, and I think it's going to be the last late war book.
Oh, yeah.
So you probably get, like, before you were hitting me with your Remagen dudes that just pop out of nowhere, it seems like. I have a feeling it's going to be even worse with this.
I don't know.
But the troops will probably be conscripts with a lot of Panzerfaust.
Yeah, it's like the troops that you don't like. That's pretty like, yes, that's all I have now. Just like,
Yeah, you won't have any tanks, would you? Because I don't think there was any German tanks in Berlin. There's Russian. Like, what do we got? You got some Soviet. Oh, there's some Germans stuff. I guess there is a few German because those first 2 pictures show a couple of German vehicles, and then they showed a Russian one underneath it.
Yep. So that's a book I need to. Well, I'll be needing to pick up.
Well, you know, I have that Russian army, so maybe I can get something out of this and whip up on your dudes with my Russians.
Be something different.
Yeah. Okay, Great War. That's another one I'm not really interested in. Okay, now this is one I am interested in. That's Cold War.
Ah.
Because if you look at it, you get M1 Abrams A-10 Thunderbolts. So it's more modern stuff.
Yeah.
So this one, and also, it's coming up. Never mind. So I'm interested to see what they're going to go with this Cold War one. I might be interested in that one.
Will you play Russia?
No, you can be United States. M1 Abrams, A-10 Thunderbolts.
It's like, yeah, but it's like we're not going against Germany, and like I don't think I will play Russia.
Oh, that's true. I guess it would be more Soviet and NATO and Warsaw. Yeah. Well, Germany was split between the two. You know, West Germany, East Germany. So you know, you kind of have choice there. And then going down. Now this one I'm kind of interested in. That's the Pacific.
That's what made me want to talk about the front page news. Is like I saw that I was like, interest.
But I'm hoping it's not early war because again, the United States won't be in it.
It said somewhere in here it's like Pacific through different time frames.
Awesome.
Like I said, like
I might be interested. Well, we both talked about being interested in Japan, playing Japan.
that's true. We both.
You want to hit your tanks will suck. If you have them, they're gonna just suck.
Actually, that might be a force of like, I might play with both because like I didn't really learn much about World War II in high school, I'm mainly just was just self-taught, but almost everything I was self-taught was Pacific, and that's why I have a lot of interest in Pacific, like the Battle of Midway. I know a lot about Battle of Midway, so if I could do something like
Iwo
that,
Jima
yeah,
on that volcanic island, that was a big one. And also just all the different island hopping. It would definitely be a different type of battle than what we're used to with our American German.
I wonder if
European theater.
Yeah, I wonder if because planes matter so much in Pacific, I wonder if they have more robust rules for using airplanes.
I hope so.
That would be like.
Well, they were working on something like an airplane game. They've been working on that.
I haven't
Flames of Planes or something.
Oh, I'll be so all over that.
And the last thing, I think that might be all. Oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but yeah, by far I'm most interested in the Pacific because I don't even know they don't really talk about much what they're going to do with it, but it's just like Pacific.
Okay, that would be my second interest. The first one would be Cold War for me.
Hey, I'm definitely Pacific and Cold War
Well, nothing says we can't do both.
because like Pacific is something I'll be interested in doing. Like I do a U.S. Army, I do a Japanese Army.
All right, well, we'll have to see what else they say. Find out more information.
All right.
More war! Really?
All right, in more war, I wanted to talk about Flames of Tanks that I found. Which, we've done some Tank Ace, and it's okay, but it seems like there's certain skills I'm going to have to take. You know, it's one of those, if you don't take this, you're crazy kind of thing. And this Flames of Tanks, I guess what they're trying to do is simulate, like, I guess, World of Tanks or something like that.
Either that or just more like games where it's like first-person shooters with upgrades.
Right. Well, it sounds like a very, very interesting idea they did here, and it's really simple. So I think it would also be a way to introduce people to Flames of War, because it's really simplified, and it looks like it's fun. You're just out there just shooting each other and trying to get your tank built up the best you can.
Yeah. I've did something similar. I went to an event they played for BattleTech, and they had an event that was very similar to this, in which is like it was just for trying to get as many people as possible, and then you just go in and just shoot each other, and when you die, you just grab a next size mech. And then here you die, it's like, okay, you get some points, now you can upgrade your tank. So it's the same kind of idea.
Yeah, they got really simplified rules here. You get 2 actions a turn, and basically you can move, or I think it's, move, shoot, or remount. That's your choice. So you can move and shoot. You can shoot twice. You can move twice. And everybody's tank's the same. So you can use any model you want, but everybody's tank's the same at the beginning of the game. And everybody has the same level to hit each other, so 3+ you hit your target. The only modifier is concealment. Adds 1.
Yeah.
That's it.
No firepower.
No firepower. They fail their save, they're blown up. If they make it, they're bailed out. Yeah, I really do think this would be an awesome one to have people try. And then there's the upgrades, which they say cut these out and throw them in a bag and draw them out, but you can kind of feel the shape. I guess, I don't know if they're all the same, like the L one, are they all arms, or more armor being L shape?
No, I see a protector ammo's L, powerful engines L.
Okay, so they use the same shape, but may have different things. Okay.
Those are the blue.
Okay, so there's red upgrades, green, yellow, blue. So red is anti-tank. Green has to do with your armor. Yellow have to do with range, so you can shoot further. And those, as long as you keep getting them, you get more. If you get more armor, you get more armor. If you get more anti-tank, your anti-tank's going to go up. The blue are a little different. They don't stack. So blue are like special abilities or tactics. Either you have it or you don't. And then when you pull it out, the shape, they give you like, what is it, a 4x4 grid?
Yeah, it's a.
and you got to fit that your little shape onto that 4x4 grid, and it may be 3 across with 1 down.
Yeah.
It may be 3 across with 1 up in the middle.
Yeah.
And so you got to fiddle that in there, and if any of your pieces go into the next area that says light, medium, and heavy. Oh, and we'll have I should have said at the beginning, we'll have in the show notes or in the notes or whatever, the link to this.
Right.
But the first 2 rows are light, the next row is medium, and the last row is heavy. And if you can't maneuver your little pieces where it doesn't go up to medium, then your tank's going to be moving medium speed, which is slower. So instead of going 16 inches, now it's going 12. If any of your pieces move up into the heavy area, now your tank only moves 8 inches.
Yeah.
So it's a little puzzle, and you get to kind of rearrange them every time you get a new piece, so you're not stuck with, this would have fit perfectly if I could rearrange it. So you can always rearrange it.
Yeah.
But
Another thing about your question about the shapes,
Yeah.
I'm looking at them, and the red, the green, and the yellow are all the same shape. You all cut them out. So you have a attack version that's 4 across. You have an armor of 4 across, range of 4 across, and then you also have fast attack. And so yeah, like you can't just fill the shape. So
yeah, and then kind of going through a little bit of this, when your tank's destroyed, each upgrade gets a 4+ save. If you fail that save, you lose that upgrade.
yeah.
And I just can't remember, how do you get upgrades?
For killing someone,
Yeah.
from holding an objective.
Oh, that's right. There was those objectives, and there was also some like spawning points. You try to capture these areas to make them your spawning points, so the opponent can't spawn there.
Yeah. Scoring. Destroying an enemy tank, adding a control marker, returning the flag.
Yeah, returning flag isn't like you. I thought it was like, I grab it and run to my side. No, it's turning an objective or a spawn point from theirs to yours, or
Yeah,
no, you put a marker down. That's what it was.
Returning flag, you're removing a marker.
That's what it was. Yeah,
Because like
the opponents.
yeah, because adding markers to either neutral or the enemy one, so they can't use it, and then returning the flag is removing those objectives, so your team can do stuff with it.
So I'm very interested in trying this. We haven't played it yet, but it looks like it'd be just a blast, and I think I'm going to enjoy this one a lot more than. And I was pretty successful with tank aces, but then again, it got to that skills is like everybody took these 2 skills. Everybody took those 2 skills because they were just so powerful. One of them was like, I think, re-rolling, and another one is if you move, you still get your full rate of fire.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, I never played that. Oh, that tank ace with skills.
Yeah.
I never played that. I just played like the base tank ace, and it was okay. But the thing was, like, for me, it was like, well, that was before I found the Jack D Tiger, so that's just like that feels dirty. It's like, yeah, I'll plop here. Yeah, I'm not moving.
I'm just going to smoke you. I'll just smoke you.
Gotta
Then you blow me up.
Gotta hit. And if you don't hit, I'm just like, well, I'm gonna shoot back.
That's true. Like today, I rolled Snake Eyes trying to smoke you. And I just needed 5. Okay, yeah. So I'm very interested. We'll have to try it, and then we'll talk about how it went.
I think this would be something good to do during the summer, like go to this local store and just try to set up a table and just trying to get as many people to come by. Just like grab a tank, grab this, start playing.
Yeah, I agree.
That's new.
All right, Arthur, you are in a battle, and you get this wonderful force here, and you're playing in No Retreat.
Okay.
And No Retreat it has ambush, reserves, and prepared positions. And you are the defender, so you're going to have to put half your forces into reserves. And what you have is, you have 2 infantry. You're an infantry company.
Okay.
So you have 2 infantry company, fully armored anti-aircraft, 1, 2, 3 platoons of Shermans, a platoon of priests, and a Pershing. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 platoons. What do you put in reserve?
Okay.
You have to put half in reserve.
Let's put in half. Uses ambushes and
No, don't worry about that. You just have to put what you'd have left. You get to put in ambush. So you have to put half of this in reserve. So you have 2 infantry, the fully armored anti-aircraft vehicle, 3 Sherman platoons, the priest artillery, and the 1 Pershing.
Wouldn't it be 4?
Yeah. So what are you going to put in reserve?
Anti-aircraft, so
yeah.
I'd like to keep this on the table.
Okay. So we'll move that up here.
I guess 1 of the infantry,
Okay.
a Sherman, and a priest.
All right. So what you put in reserve was 1 infantry platoon, 2 of the Sherman platoons, and the Pershing.
Right.
And so what you're going to put on table is the infantry platoon, the fully armored anti-aircraft, a Sherman platoon, and the priest.
Right.
You can't do that.
And that's
This is a little rule I found when I was doing my tutorials. Like, oh, I did not know this. On page 269 of your rule book, it's called Armored Reserves. And it says, in a mission with both reserves and prepared positions, which this mission has, you are defending. So you're defending with reserves and prepared positions. If you are a mechanized company, you can only deploy up to 2 fully armored platoons. If you're an infantry, which you are here, you can only do 1. So which of these, between the anti-aircraft, the platoon of Shermans, or the priest, do you want to start with? And if you're fortified, you get none of them. Now, you don't count recon in this. So, technically, you're going to start the game with 2 things on the table, unless you throw all your infantry out there. So you're going to have to start with you're going to have to start with your 2 infantry, and then out of your 6 choices here, the 3 Shermans, the Pershing, the priest, or the fully armored anti-aircraft, which one of those do you want to start on the table?
wow.
Yeah, does it say anything on here on No Retreat about armored reserves? No. You can't find anywhere except for this little part on page 269.
Wow.
Keep your allies close, but keep your enemies closer.
All right, Arthur, what bad boy are you going to throw at me this time?
Well, I'm gonna go with the biggest bad boy I've seen yet. Since I started using the Richard Ramagan book, it's been my favorite tank ever. The Yagdi Tiger.
Yeah.
I don't know
Smoke attractor, or smoke magnet is what that thing is.
You gotta smoke it right, because otherwise I'm just like, I think gonna turn 90 degrees.
That's true. I smoked it, but you could still shoot those guys that were on the objective.
Okay, so the thing is, it's a big, heavy tank.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is, it's a slow tank, but its gun is 8 inches bigger than all the other big tanks in my army list. It's a 48-inch range, where everything else on my big guns are 40.
Well, I can only normally shoot 32, so you're shooting, 18 more inches than I can.
Yeah, 32 is like my normal tanks,
Right.
but my big tanks, 40.
So it going slow is no big deal to me.
Yeah, it's like,
I mean,
yeah, 48 inches is like, I just plop here, I can almost shoot across the table.
unless you needed to capture an objective or something, but that 48 inch or 40 whatever 48 is that right 48?
It's 48.
Golly, that 48. Oh, it's 16 inches more than me. I can't do math. 48 minus 32. 16 inches more than my tanks. So, wow.
But I've been burnt by the 8 inches because objectives. Because already go to the downside of this tank. It's expensive, but a lot. It's expensive.
Yeah, but let's go through its armor.
Okay. Front 16.
Yeah, see right there, I have nothing. I don't think there's anything in the game that can penetrate that.
Yeah. It can glance against itself if I roll a 1. Side of 8.
Okay, that's like my jumbo.
2 top.
Okay, that's like my jumbo. So very similar jumbos, just have front armor is. I can't do anything against that.
That's insane. And then rate of fire 2. Anti-tank of 17.
Yeah, that's. I noticed one thing is when you're shooting my units to have a jumbo in there, I'm like, I don't want to put it on a jumbo. Even if I'm +1 because of distance, that's 13. I have to get a roll of 4 to have you just to bail me out.
Yeah.
Because your firepower is what?
2 plus.
2 plus. Yeah, not a 3, 2. So chances of you rolling a 1 is very, very slim.
And on top of all that, breakthrough gun, which is my other big tanks don't have.
Yeah, that you took out. That happened today.
Yeah.
You took out my recon jeep. It's just okay. You hit the jeep. I don't get a save.
So yeah, like,
Well, it's also hull mounted,
it's hull mounted.
which is kind of that could be a negative.
Yeah. Some of the other big tanks are, well, I guess the JD Panther is also hull mounted, but it's still, and it is overloaded and unreliable.
Okay, overloaded could be a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going over terrain where you have to make that check, 1 or 2 gets you now.
The King Tiger also has overloaded.
Yeah. Does it have now the unreliable? I'm not too worried about that. I hardly see anybody
Yeah.
moving at the double with tanks. What about does it have protected ammo or anything like that?
No, it does not.
Okay, that's a negative. Because that protected ammo is really handy to have if you get bailed out. But of course, the chances of this thing getting bailed out, it's going to be pretty slim.
Yeah, if firing against itself from the front, rolling a 1, it bails out.
I mean, even if I just get my normal Shermans, which I run against you, it's only anti-tank 10 on your side. Just don't roll a 1. If you roll a 2, I have to get a 3 plus to bail you out.
Yeah.
You roll 3 or higher, I've done nothing.
Airplane is like, you usually
Oh,
with the 2
yeah,
plus.
the airplane would be.
And artillery.
Does it have anti-aircraft?
No.
Okay, so that, yeah. So airplane and artillery is really the way I'm going to have to try to
yeah.
hurt you on that one.
Yeah, also gonna need to keep it close to like my anti-air guns, like
Yep.
Whirlwinds or also winds. But like I said, the downside to it is it's expensive. Really, really expensive.
Yeah, but it's a tough little unit, or it's a tough little tank to take out.
Oh yeah, it's really worth it because like, see here, Tigers. This is 190 points. That's pretty expensive.
Well, you normally get also Tiger Ray skill with that.
Okay, yeah. Half the stuff don't get Tiger Ace in this one. This
Oh,
one
really?
did.
This one does, though?
He does, so.
Okay.
He does get the Tiger Ace skill.
But then there are some HQs get Tiger Ray skill even though they're not using a Tiger.
I haven't seen
So-
a whole lot. Oh, yeah, like, wow.
What?
The King Tiger is 300 points. The Jack D. Panther is like 220. Now, this bad boy, the Tiger that I'm talking about, that's 300 points for one guy. So, that's a comparative points to the King Tiger, and the Jack D. Tiger's probably pretty much better in every way.
Yeah, it's got to be part of it's that Tiger Ray skill.
That's
Gotta be
true.
the way. Also, but are they the same, like confident and all that? Are they the same rating for that?
Well, that's true. Like, where do I find them?
To,
The King Tiger is reluctant veteran,
Uh-huh.
with the other one's confident train. And like,
So yeah, that's going to bring the cost up on your Yagdi.
Yeah.
I keep saying Jagdi. I'm sorry, I was European English or whatever, not German. So the Yagdi, that's why it's probably a lot more expensive too. Well, wait, the King Tiger is pretty.
it's like the first one's worse, and the second one's better. Because the King Tiger is reluctant veteran,
Uh-huh.
and this is confident train. So, better motivation, worse training.
Yeah, but are you really worried about being hit? For the most part, are you worried about being hit?
Getting bogged down. If I have to move through,
Oh, yeah.
I have something else to worry about.
Oh, yeah. Well, that train. Yep.
So it still
yeah.
matters.
I'll just have to keep smoking and try to limit its use.
Yeah, smoking me, but you still got to be within. If you're within 16 inches, I'll take the +1 to hit and shoot you through the smoke with my 2 shots. Because if I hit you, you're not going to be there.
Yeah, because I think everything you hit, I didn't make a save whatsoever. And you didn't roll a 1, so it was dead.
Yeah. Most things like, if I hit you, yeah. And next time, I'll probably talk about the special character warrior.
Yeah.
The Yankee Tiger.
There's only one thing I gotta say. Smoke! Smoke. Okay.
He better be. Yeah. I'll get to him next time.
Alright, soldier. At ease. What is it?
Sir, I just got the recon report in. There's some interesting developments in it. The report says...
Alright, so I almost didn't have anything for this part, so I think, we'll just wait till next time for something. But last night, I was watching YouTube, I was just relaxing back, and I ran into this video series called Combat with an exclamation mark. I'm like, well, what is this? Some black and white, 50 minutes long. It turns out it was a series that was put on by ABC from, when was it? It was about 5 years running, so it wasn't a short run, from October 1962 to March of 1967.
Oh, that's when it was produced?
Yeah. Total of 152 episodes.
Wow.
And each episode is about 50 minutes long.
That's a lot of material.
Yeah, it was. And the first 4 years was black and white, and the last year, I haven't seen it yet, but the last year is in color.
You just seen the first episode?
I just seen the first episode. And so I was like, well, you know what, I kind of want to talk about this series. And kind of my review is going to be just on that first episode. And kind of what some of the people said, I was kind of reading some of the stuff, what people said about the series was, there wasn't a lot of dialogue, but a lot of action. I'll agree, there wasn't a lot of dialogue. I'm not going to give any spoilers or anything like this, but the first episode I saw, I forgot what the episode was called, but they were reconning out this to hit this German big gun that was shooting artillery shells. So they were going to spot for the artillery coming in, and they captured a German. This German spoke very good English, and he said he was deserting from the German army. Well, they didn't know if they could trust him or not, and he was in the show business and all this. And so the whole episode was, they were in a very tight spot, and they had to get out of there, and there was a German tank that would kind of where they had to cross its machine gun fire. And so, well, do they take this German with them because they have to jump in the river and swim through the river? Or do they kill him? And this whole episode was just going, and you're sitting there going, are they going to do it? Or are they going to take him with them? Or are they going to... And after they captured the whole episode, it was a really psychological thing of, are they or are they not going to kill this German soldier?
So is this a show or just like historical?
It's not. It's based off some unit that never fought. This takes basically from D-Day forward, from what I saw on the deal. Like I said, I only saw the one episode, and it was really 4 Americans in this group, and the 1 German. It was really the cast.
So, only turns. Is this like a fictional show or just?
Yes.
Like, okay.
Fictional. So you're sitting there going, see, I'm not going to say what happened. But you're sitting through the whole show. No, they're not. Oh, wait, yeah, they are. No, wait, no, yeah, they are. No, yes, they are. So you're sitting there just back and forth. You just don't know whether or not they're going to kill this German soldier or take him with them.
Interesting.
So I will give this a 4-star general out of 5. The only reason I did this, I didn't give it 5. I thought it was very good, was obviously the Germans don't know how to shoot their machine guns at troops running across in the open because they hit nobody. I guess that's kind of a spoiler, but okay. All of them made it across to the river and did not get shot. And the tank's sitting there. So if they would have wounded a guy at least, I would bump it up. But, maybe future episodes. Maybe some people get shot or wounded or something like this, but...
Maybe they were trained by Cobra.
Yo, Joe. So, yeah, I'll give this a 4-star general. I'm going to continue to watch the series. I think it's going to be a very interesting series to watch and see how the characters develop and how the story develops.
Interesting.
All right, soldier, you will shape up and you will listen, because we are now going to talk about Sun Tzu and the Art of War. Attention!
All right, so we are ready for some Sun Tzu. And this time, I want to kind of go to chapter 4 with tactical dispositions. And the first one, so Sun Tzu says, the good fighters of old first put themselves beyond the possibility of defeat, and then waited for an opportunity of defeating the enemy.
Well, I think a lot of these in the chapter is based on like trying not to make a mistake,
Mm-hmm.
and then capitalizing on the mistakes of your opponent.
Yep, I agree. Like this one, put yourself beyond the possibility of defeat. Just don't make any mistakes, and then wait for the opportunity. Oh, there it is. Now I can go win the game. That's when I'm going to go out there. Yeah, I kind of take it as that too.
And I think that's both playing as well as making your list. Because like when you make your list, you need to make sure it's probably balanced and can take on. Doesn't have any obvious holes in it.
Yep. Okay, number 2. To secure ourselves against defeat lies in our own hands, but the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. So that goes along with him making a mistake, and then you capitalizing on that mistake.
As well as like make sure you don't make a mistake.
Right. Yeah, this kind of chapter is just, maybe it shouldn't be tactical disposition. It just says, don't make a mistake, idiot.
That's pretty much what it is.
And wait for the opponent to make a mistake and then capitalize on it. So let's see what number 4 has. So we're not just going to go in order. We're going to jump around some that kind of fit miniatures games. So number 4, hence the saying, one may know how to conquer without being able to do it. It's kind of a tougher one. So I know how to beat you, but if I start making mistakes, I won't be able to do it. I know to win the game, I got to take out that Yagdi tiger, because that's the only thing to take these out. And if I start making mistakes and just trying to put everything over there, I'm forgetting what's going on in the rest of the game.
Actually, I think it's more along of like, you know how to win, but you don't. Wait, let me look at it again. Without being able to do it.
It's a tough call, this one. This one's kind of, I can see you interpreting this one different ways. Maybe this isn't capitalizing on taking advantage of situations to help you with the win or something like that. So that one is kind of a cloudy one. Yeah. I'm going to go with, you may have a different, nothing says we're both right or both wrong. I'm going to kind of go with, yeah, I know to win the game, if I take that Yagdi out, I'm going to win. But if all I worry about is that Yagdi, I'm not going to win the game. Okay. I know how to win, but I'm not able to do it because I used all my resources in other ways. And it goes back to your balance deal, too.
True.
All right, what do we... number 13, we're going to jump way up to 13. He wins his battles by making no mistakes. Ding, ding, ding. That's what you were just talking about at the beginning. Yep. So that's it. That's number 13. That's pretty simple explanation there. And I can see that this fits in miniatures game. Okay, number 14.
Wait, that's it?
Yeah, that's it. He wins battles by making no mistakes. The enemy is the one that's going to make the mistakes. That's it. Yeah, it's just that real quick sentence. Oh, wait, maybe not.
Because
making no mistakes. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a little paragraph in between here. My fault. So here it is again. Okay. So number 13, he wins his battles by making no mistakes. Making no mistakes is what establishes the certainty of victory, for it means conquering an enemy that is already defeated. Yeah, because if you're making all these mistakes, you're already hurting yourself.
Yeah. So it goes back to this to the beginning, like, don't make any mistakes. Capitalize on your opponent's mistakes.
Yep.
If you don't make any mistakes, you're certain yourself victory. Cause
yeah, like this last game, one of the things that you forgot to do, and I forgot to do, but it didn't hurt me because you didn't attack my infantry, but your guys, you forgot to dig him in.
Yes.
And I capitalized that on turn 2 because you didn't get saves on these guys, and then the guys you did get saves, you rolled bad.
Yeah.
And so there I capitalized on your mistake.
Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah, but we both did that because we were trying to do that quick game. All right, number 14. Hence, the skillful fighter puts himself into a position which makes defeat impossible and does not miss a moment for defeating the enemy. To me, that's having a positive attitude. I am going to win, and I'm not going to make any mistakes.
Yeah.
And, you didn't dig those guys in. Guess what I'm going to do now? Because once you dig those guys in, I'm going to have trouble taking them out. But you didn't dig them in. I'm going to just bomb them.
Yeah, I'm so used to missions where you start digging in. And
Yeah.
It's like, and along with the speed, I just like, oh, wait, these guys are not digged in.
All right, and the last one, 15. Thus it is that in war, the victorious strategist only seeks battle after victory has been won, whereas he who is destined to defeat first fights and afterwards looks for victory. So this to me is know what you want to do to win the game and follow that path where somebody's just going to go out and just see what happens. Like, I could possibly win the game over here now. Or I could possibly, they just go out and just, I'm going to bomb this, I'm going to shoot this with no rhyme or reason why they're doing it. They just want to go out there and fight.
Yeah, so it's saying, have a plan for victory, and then play, as opposed to, like, how do I win?
Well, let's see. Oh, wait, those guys are in the open. Let me go shoot some artillery at them. Well, if that's not going to help you win the game, where you need to artillery these infantry that are, sitting in the objective.
Yeah, so it says, like, okay, it's for objective, we're like, okay, this is my unit, it will be moving forward to the objective, and then my Yankee Tigers would be somewhere on the board, covering fire for them, and that's how I'm going to win a game.
Right. Well, not against me, though.
Well, that wraps up another episode of War Journal, Flames of War. Your host, Tracy and Arthur, thank you for listening to this episode, and keep an eye out for future episodes. So, until next time, as always, have a good game.